what's really in front of you and readily available, juicy, and you can smell it. If you were to reach out and touch it, you could feel how ripe this is for healing. If you're ignoring it or like reaching beyond it, what might happen is that you make a mess. That's a little bit what the astrology is talking about right now. And relationship stuff is here also. What is going on with this relationship dynamic? Okay. All right. So part of what's going on with relationships, I'm looking to Venus to get information about. And Venus is in Taurus, making a square to Pluto. The square was more intense days ago, and this is a tension that is going to be releasing more and more in the next several days and onward. But what might have come up and what I have felt personally and indirectly with my connections with other humans in the world is some tension around what keeps us feeling safe in relationship and a transformation that's ready for right now. So how this could be working is that if you are open to dealing with what's right there, right in front of you, that wants to be healed, that wants some love and care, also that wants to be brought out of hiding. If there are secrets, if you are feeling ashamed and if you are being dishonest as a result of feeling ashamed, if you're keeping something hidden from people that you love, Venus, in an attempt to stay feeling safe in a relationship dynamic, and this is not just romantic, this extends to, I think really this extends to relationships that exist one-on-one, but this could be also within friend groups and family dynamics. I would like to name that I think that these types of relationships also exist. Like if they're from a family and friend group, you also have like a direct one-on-one relationship. There might be family members that you have who you don't really interact with outside of like family get-togethers, and this is not the dynamic I'm talking about. This would be someone who you would also spend some time with one-on-one. So, and also a friend, if it's a friendship thing, it's a friend that you would spend time with one-on-one as well. Not always, but like that you do have that kind of dynamic. A relationship exists between the two of you. And then of course, romantic relationships are also involved. And even those romantic relationships in which you might not be monogamous, but those of us who are choosing to be in relationship, and I'm not one of these people, I can't make it work, but ethically non-monogamous or polyamorous people might be having this dynamic as well. So you might be having romance or intimacy with more than one person, but there could be some tension within this dynamic. And what's coming up is old stuff. So paying attention to the wounding and what's wanting to be healed right now, with an understanding that the pain that you're feeling in this moment is not specific to this interaction or if it's a situation that may have happened. And I strongly encourage you to consider that this wound existed before you even knew this person. And from that perspective, find a way that you might be able to connect with healing outside of what you would want this person to do differently. And really to consider instead what you wish that the person who originally hurt you with this wound would have done differently. And very often the original wounding that we're looking at is going to stem from childhood and come from one of our primary caregivers. Something else wants to be said. Yeah, okay. So checking in, I mean, for a lot of us, this is going to be mom, but not everyone. For a lot of us, this is going to be mom, and something that happened with mom when she didn't have the capacity to take care of you. Now, she probably didn't have the capacity to take care of herself either. And why point this out? I'm pointing this out because it could be helpful when you are thinking about this old wounding to change your perspective on it with an understanding that your mother lacked resources or capacity, that your primary caregiver, who was the human involved when you first got this wound, that they didn't have the capacity to show up for you, and it wasn't personal. They weren't trying to hurt you, and yet they did. So the exercise then becomes, what do you wish your mom or primary caregiver would have done for you back then? What do you wish that they could have done for you back then? And take that and hold it close and see if you can get your need, a need met today that is sort of vibrationally similar to what you needed back then. And the first person I'm going to ask you to check in with in terms of who might be able to give that to you is yourself. It would be extraordinary if you learned that you had the resources and capacity to meet one of your needs in terms of what you need to heal this wound, what you would have needed back then, and what you might need today to contribute to healing this wound. This is not a cure. We're not curing anything. This is not some big magic. There's no pill. There's no special herb. It's showing care to yourself to tend to this wound for healing, but not curing the pain of your entire life. That's not actually ever going to happen in one swift go. We just keep living. That's what's happening, unless we're dead, and then we're not doing this work anymore. But otherwise, this is a practice for every different experience that we get to have throughout our life. We'll have a spectrum and variety of pleasure and pain, and we will be having experiences that rub up against some of our wounding as long as we're alive. But tending to the wound and seeing what you can do for yourself is an empowering step to take. Now, if you need more, a great practice is to kind of take stock and notice who within your circle of friends or family, other loved ones, might have the capacity or resources to offer you what you need, and then ask that person for it. And ideally, what you're doing is asking for care from this person from a place where you feel that you know if they say no, they will actually be honoring their capacity in their own life right now. And it has nothing to do with whether or not you deserve to receive this care. This is the tricky part, and it does require vulnerability to be here. So I can't promise that this exercise won't include an experience of disappointment, because it is possible that someone won't be able to provide you what you need. And that's pretty scary. As someone who was previously experiencing personally quite a bit of neglect, it can be terrifying for me when someone doesn't say yes to giving me something that I need, that I've asked for. It can be really scary, but it's so worth it to be in practice and strengthening the muscle of receiving a no. This is really powerful stuff. So sitting with the discomfort of disappointment, so powerful, so strengthening. And also doing what you can to take care of yourself that's available. So important. All of this together. I'm looking at the planets and celestial bodies on the chart that I have up on the computer, checking to see if there's anything else that wants to be said. With Pluto in Aquarius, there is some very heavy energy pulling us toward community and towards showing up for our community. And when this type of dynamic is in play, it's very tempting to move away from our personal center and attempt to center ourselves through belonging with a group and a cause. And the cause is important, the revolution is important, but centering yourself in your own experience so that you can take responsibility for your wellness and for how you're showing up in these spaces is critical. So remember to be in practice with connecting with Leo energy in a healthy way, which is to center yourself in your own heart. Leo is the heart, and Leo is centered in its own heart, in itself. And there is a risk here of, if we are ignoring and avoiding Leo energy, if we are avoiding our heart, one reason we might do that is to avoid pain, and that's understandable, but also there's a practice invitation here for experiencing pain when we connect with our true feelings in our heart, and sitting with the discomfort of the pain that might be there, the pain of being alive and human right now, watching the precious human lives being squandered in war and violence across the globe. It'll hurt, and feeling the hurt is a part of the revolution. So center yourself in yourself. Feel your feelings to avoid the slippery slope of Leo making itself known and experienced through Leo expressions that are harmful. And I'm not even going to name them right now because I want to just stay really focused on a healthy expression of Leo energy, which is to be centered in the heart. That's the invitation, to be centered in the heart through the self and show up for the community and be connected to a global network of our humanity and the revolution right now, but not at any cost, not while harming self. Caring for self, showing up for others when we have the capacity, giving honest yeses and nos. This is the invitation of the current astrology. Thanks for listening.